Okay, let me show you this. This is interesting stats, okay? We're going to start with this. This is what the non-Muslims are saying, okay? Non-Muslims are saying that this is very carefully chosen slides. Okay, this is an extract from the Russian. Okay, it's a journal. इसमें सिर्फ Russian data नहीं है, English data भी है इसमें. Actually, बहुत ज़्यादा English data. So this is what the English are saying, that when a Muslim population is under 2% of any given country. Okay, how many Muslims in England? 4 million out of 80 million. What is the percentage? Anybody? 4 out of 80 million. 4 out of 80. So we are over 2%. Eh? So what they're saying is, as long as the Muslim population remains around 2% or less in any given country, they will be, for the most part, regarded as a peace-loving community. They will be talking about peace, inclusion, integration, so on. I'm not saying it. This is not a Muslim data, okay? This is non-Muslims. They are regarded as a peace-loving minority and not as a threat to any other citizen. This is the case in America, Australia, Canada, China, Norway. Okay, and then as soon as they're starting to rise by 5%, they begin to do something else. Okay, they start forming groups. And then you can see certain street activity. They see going to drugs, you see them going into jails, you see going into gangs, you see them going into certain crimes. Remind you of anybody? 4% stats, again, per diem accurate. So, you see this in Germany, you see this in Denmark, you see this in your United Kingdom. क्या है पाकिस्तानियों का ये वाला मसला, मुसलमानों का ये वाला मसला इंग्लैंड? Of course है ये. Okay, Spain, Thailand. Then they say, as from 5% on, they exercise a certain doctrine and influence in proportion to the percentage of their population. For example, they will push for the introduction of halal, HMC. Okay, they will push for it. Okay, certain standards of food, they were securing food preparation jobs for Muslims. They will increase pressure on the supermarket chains. Word to the wise. Word to the wise. That's a good way to start, okay? ये ठीक कह रहे हैं और करना भी ऐसे ही चाहिए था हमें. बहरहाल हम हर जगह नहीं कर रहे. They will increase the pressure on supermarket chains to feature halal on their shelves along with the threats for failure to comply. नहीं करोगे तो फिर threat है. We'll boycott you and so on and so forth. That's not me saying, okay? Keep reminding you. This is a very big sample जिसके बारे में डेटा है. France में ऐसे हुआ, Philippines, Sweden, Switzerland, Netherlands. Actually, the Dutch have gone an extra mile. Forget about that. We'll talk about this in Trinidad and Tobago. At this point, they will work to get the ruling government to allow them to rule themselves within their own ghettos. Okay? This is when a certain percentage starts to rise. The word Sharia starts to flourish in those countries. Again, I'm not saying this. This is what they're saying. About who? About you and me. And the Islamic law versus that law. The ultimate goal of the Islam is to establish Sharia law over the entire world. Ironic. I'm actually presenting that right now. So, then what happened? They say, as soon as they hit these Muslims, they hit 10% of any of us. They tend to increase lawlessness as a means of complaint about their own conditions. In Paris, we are already seeing car burnings. Any non-Muslim action offends Islam and results in uprising and threats such as Amsterdam, with opposition to, the Muhammad and the way they're actually, trying to do whatever, films about Islam, these tensions grow in Guyana, India, Israel, Kenya, Russia. Okay, these are all densely populated Muslim lands. Then something else happens. After we reach 20%, nations can expect hair triggers, rioting, छोटी सी बात पे riots, jihad militias, sporadic killings, and then burnings of churches and Jewish synagogues, such as in Ethiopia. And then, as soon as we hit 40%, like Bosnia, Chad, Lebanon, Muslims grow into chronic terror attacks and ongoing militia. This is what our brand impression is. That's how they look at us. Quite frankly, not far off from the truth. From 60%, nations experience unfettered persecution of non-believers of all other religions. Okay, like Albania, Malaysia, Qatar, Sudan. After 80%, expect daily intimidation and violent jihads. Some state-run ethnic cleansing, like in Bangladesh, Palestine. Palestine is ethnic cleansing. The Jews out of Palestine. That's what they say. Okay? Tajikistan, Pakistan. Okay? We are ethnically cleansing ourselves from the Hindu or the non-Muslim community. That's what they actually think. Turkey. By the way, these sort of like UAE, these sort of countries are all, common sense parameters. And then when 100% is achieved, they go back into peace. They call it Dar es Salaam, an Islamic house of peace. Here they're supposed to be peace because everybody's a Muslim. And there is no more need of any of those things. And all of a sudden, all of the schools and madrasas, Quran is the only word. That's like Afghanistan and Saudi Arabia, Somalia and Yemen. Now look at the survey. Look at the way the lens and जिस राइटर ने ये लिखा है सर्वे की, उसकी जब उसने ये पूरी की पूरी debrief लिखी थी, what kind of lens was he wearing? Now, I need you to understand. I put this for a purpose. Because you guys are immigrants, you guys know Pakistan, you guys know the culture, you have the lens of Pakistani and a very emotional lens of a Muslim. But this little child is going to get a very English lens. And correctly so, appropriately so. That's why we brought her here. And then she'll be like saying all of these things about the Muslim brand, about us. And she'll be like, कि इसमें गलत क्या है? वो ठीक कह रहे ना अम्मी, अब्बू वो ठीक कह रहे ना सारे, हमारे यहाँ ही ये सारे मसाइल क्यों हैं? See, this is that myopia that they put in. Even though मैं खाली मुस्लिम बदलूं ना और ज्यूइश लिखूं, मुस्लिम बदलूं और क्रिश्चियन लिखूं और थोड़ा सा ईरा चेंज कर दूं, तो ये स्टैट ज्यादा विशियस हो जाते हैं. Way more vicious actually. We have the least amount of killings for other religions than Islam. All the religions have killed way more people because of their religious doctrine than Muslims. मगर ये numbers कैसे present होंगे? किसको होंगे? ये इन बच्चों को होंगे. उसके बाद क्या होगा? They will take the sword against their own parents. और वो क्या करेंगे? वो सब कुछ कर लेंगे क्योंकि हमारे पास convincing answers नहीं होते. We do not know the landscape कैसे present करना होता है बच्चे के आगे. तो हम hollow किस्म के arguments बच्चे को देके चुप तो करा देते हैं थप्पड़ मार के. उसके बाद वो स्कूल में जाके, क्लास में जाके, दोस्तों में जाके अपनी आइडेंटिटी दोबारा से बनाता है कि यार, you know what? Daddy doesn't really make sense. Mommy doesn't even know anything. ये इमोशनल किस्म की औरत है या इमोशनल किस्म का आदमी है. रैशनल थिंकिंग के लिए, क्रिटिकल थिंकिंग के लिए, I'd rather be English. And that's where you're going to see lack of values, confused value system, फेक और पोज करेंगे घर में इस्लामिक, घर से बाहर निकलते ही लड़की इंग्लिश हो जाएगी और लड़का अमेरिकन हो जाएगा. वापस आएंगे दोबारा से पाकिस्तानी वर्जन के अंदर एंटर होंगे. They're going to pose in front of you till of course you're old enough to let them go, or they're old enough to go on their own, and then they will be your classic departures from Islam. ये सर्वे आपको इसलिए बताना जरूरी था बिकॉज उसने तंग नजरी से, प्रेजुडिस से लिखा है कि नहीं, डजंट मैटर, नंबर्स उसके पास ठीक है, आंसर्स हमारे पास ठीक नहीं है. इसके नंबर्स ठीक हैं, कंक्लूजन गलत ड्रॉ किए, मगर आपके पास वो आंसर्स नहीं है. और मेरे पास वो आंसर्स अभी मैं बताता हूं कहां से आए हैं. और वो कैसे आपने प्रेजेंट करने हैं, बिकॉज ये वाले नंबर तो कुछ भी नहीं है। मैं तो अभी आपको वो नंबर सिखाऊं तो तोते उड़ जाए, गोरों के भी खालों के भी।